Have you ever felt like you're on the edge? You're getting ready to dive in something really big in your life. It's the moment when you realize everything that you have been working for, all of your hard work, things are getting ready to get real. Well, this part of the journey is step 7, approaching the inmost cave. It's the part of the journey where we, as the hero, is getting ready to encounter a large challenge, maybe some type of obstacle in our path. And we have to prepare ourselves both mentally and emotionally for this part of our journey. We're going to have to take time to reflect and regroup and understand what's at stake before we continue on the path. Do we think the direction that we are heading, is it really worth it? We have to give that some thought, self-reflection. And if we decide that we're going to continue, we have to understand what's at stake at this part of the journey before we continue to move forward. So if that interests you, continue to watch this video as I dive in deeper on step 7, as well as how this part of the hero's journey has impacted my life. I'm Sherry from SherryLouMiller.com, and let's get started. So if you've been following along with the 6 steps, then you understand my journey. In 2023, a contract that I was working on ended, and I began to work full-time on my business. But if my previous business was a gift shop, which was no longer doing well. It wasn't profitable, and it wasn't lighting me up. So I had reached a point in my journey where I started to reflect to see where I was and where did I want to go? What exactly did I want for my life? I felt like I was being pulled in a different direction, something that was more aligned with me, the things that I believe in, the things that I value, that there was something bigger in store for me, even at this stage of my life, because as you can tell, I'm a senior citizen. But even at this season and phase of my life, there was something more for me, something more that I needed to step into in order to live the life that I had always envisioned. And I needed to stop and pause and reflect on what exactly was that. And it wasn't something that happened overnight. It was a journey in and of itself. Through journaling, I figured that out. But it took some time, more time than I really wanted to give it, but it did take time. And that part of my journey was I was approaching the inmost cave. It was the part where I had reached a challenge in my business, in my life, and I had to pause. I had to reflect, I had to regroup, and I had to understand what it was going to take to pretty much just abandon the other part of my business and put all of my time and energy into something, an industry, a business that I knew nothing about, that I hadn't, at that point, hadn't even researched. But it was the tug in my heart. And sometimes that's what you have to follow. I don't know if I would call it a passion, but it is something that lights me up. And in being still in that moment, I reached the point where I understood what was at stake. I understood that at that point in my journey, I was going to start over from scratch. There would be absolutely no revenue coming in. I would have to learn an entire new industry, which would take time. But I decided to somewhat, I guess, split. Although most of my energy goes into the new business, I do still take maybe 10-15% of my time and add new designs to the other shop just to have some flow of revenue into my bank account. But that was the moment to pause, recognize what was going to be at stake if I continue to follow what was lighting me up. So for me, the cave was both emotional and mental, because I had to look beyond the financial challenges that this step may cause me because of the lack of revenue that would be generated from a brand new business. Mentally, I had to prepare myself for the challenges ahead, like learning something new, starting over, the fear of failure, because the journaling business, I mean, it's not saturated, but I don't think it's an easy point of entry. And since I'm still in the creative phase, I can't say because I haven't started marketing my product. But if you, journaling is big. And really, since I've started to enter this space, it's like when you decide you want a car, then all of a sudden you see that car everywhere. That's how journaling has been to me. Since I've entered this space in my business, I've heard influencers talk about journaling. I've heard celebrities talk about journaling. I've seen journals everywhere. Like now it's in my consciousness, it's everywhere. So I can't stand in a space of scarcity and worry about what my point of entry into that market might be because I have decided this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to embrace an abundance mindset and a growth mindset that my challenges, if I encounter any, if I encounter any challenges, they're just a stepping stone to on my journey to where I'm going. They are just going to make me stronger. It may be something that I need to learn on this journey. So an obstacle has been put in my way so that I have a smaller learning curve or not as steep of a learning curve than I might have. So you shouldn't let fear stop you from moving forward because sometimes it's a driving force to make us stronger. But I'm not going to lie and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is some level of fear, but it's not a deterrent. It's there and I acknowledge it, but I keep moving on. I'm not allowing myself anymore to get stuck in the analysis paralysis that I was doing because, the other video that I talked about, the challenge, I don't use Instagram like that. So I was like, oh, how am I going to draw an audience? How am I going to do this? And come January 1st, I just leaned into it. I had 2 followers and now I have 85. So for me, yeah, I'm going to pat myself on the back because that is a huge accomplishment because my channel's been up for a little bit. My profile has been on Instagram for a while and I had two followers. So now I have 83 additional followers and it's only January 7th. And I'm happy about that. And it has engagement. People are saving my posts. People are liking the post. Some have even shared it. So I stepped into it, even though I wasn't sure how it would work out. I didn't know if anybody would follow me. I didn't know if anybody would join the challenge, but I was like, you got to keep moving forward. It's an entry point into my journaling business. The challenge is not only about creating a vision board, but it's also about just not putting it up on the board as a collage of photos and leaving it there. It's interacting and making conscious choices about the vision that we've created on this board. How are we going to bring it to life? It's not just going to come to life on its own. You're going to have to make conscious choices about it. You're going to have to take action because thoughts create feelings, feelings create actions, and actions create results. And in this particular instance, the result is your vision, bringing your dreams into reality. So that part of my journey, I stepped into it. There was fear there was resistance there was some hesitation. But on December 31st, I created my first post, and on January 1st, I got up that morning and I posted it. So even though I'm entering uncharted territory and there's some fear there, I had to pause, regroup, and I'm rebuilding. It's all about continuing to move forward on the journey and recognizing where you are on the journey when you're there. So at this point, step 7, approaching the inmost cave, I had to understand what was going to be at stake if I continued down this path on something that was unfamiliar to me in an industry that has a lot of established journals, creators, whatever you want to call it, already in there. But Everybody has to start somewhere. And the pace, how fast you grow, that's your journey. Some people are going to go faster than others, but you can't compare your journey to someone else. We're each unique. So how fast my business grows is how fast it grows, because it's going to be based on my choices, my actions, and the things that I do, and my level of enthusiasm. Right now, there are days like yesterday, I was moving very slow. I've been trying to stay consistent with posting every day and doing things every day and being on Pinterest and all of these things that do not come easy to me. I'm not a big social media person, but in order to build my digital business, because the planner is digital first, I have to do something to build an audience, to drive traffic, all of those things. And in the digital world, that's social media. So I got to step into it. I got to take action every day to do something, because for me, although there's some fear there, it's not really fear that's going to prevent me from moving forward. I'm not going to focus on failure. I'm going to focus on success. I'm going to focus on growth. I'm going to focus on leaning in if I do fail, as allowing those to be stepping stones that will only help me on my journey. So if you're like me and you just stepped into something huge, you're at that point where everything that you've been working for, all the things that you've journaled about, that you've thought about, they're getting ready to get real. This is where it's time for you to pause, take a step back, look at your values, look at your beliefs, and make sure that what you're stepping into aligns with that. Make sure if you're getting ready to make a huge, big leap, that not only does the thing that you're getting ready to step into align with your values and belief, it lights you up. It's just not you're going from one hamster wheel to another. So that's the end of step 7, approaching the inmost cave. Now let's move into today's 5 journaling prompts. 1. How do I feel about stepping into the unknown? What excites me and what scares me? Because more than likely, you will experience both. What's one action I can take today to prepare myself for the challenge ahead? Number 3, what do I need to remember about my values and vision as I face this next step in my journey? 4, what support or any resources do I need to help me succeed in this next phase? So this is about you taking time to consider who and what can help you move forward on your journey. Number 5, when I think about what's ahead, what's the first step I feel called to take? So this step is about encouraging you to take a step, whether it's small. It doesn't have to be a big leap. As I stated in the beginning of the video, you just need to move forward towards what it is that you want in your life. So we've just completed step 7 of the hero's journey. We have 5 more steps to go. Please hit the notification bell so that you're notified when I post the remainder of the 5 steps. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe to the channel. That helps me grow, and share it with anyone that you think may be at a point of their journey where they need something different. Don't forget to check out the 21-day Ignite Your Vision Challenge, the Vision Board in Action, over on Instagram. And I'll see you on step 8.